Good evening. It is April 1st, 2019, April Fool's Day. You fool. It just sounds funny, April Fools. You get any April Fool's jokes, Derek, Doug?
Yeah, I had one today. It wasn't very funny.
Corny?
A kid brought up a box to him. He goes, "Hey, you want some brownies?" I go, "No, I don't eat brownies." And he had a donut box, and when he opened it, he had some brown stuff in there, and it said E, a bunch of E's, like brown E's.
Oh, jeez.
I was like, beat it, kid.
Hey, I want to welcome everybody to the Vinnie Marino Podcast. I'm Vinnie, and tonight I have Doug Monda. Love bringing Doug on the show. He's going to give us some post-Global Walk updates. He's going to talk a little bit more about his foundation and what's to come with him as he's going to get back in the field. We did a live interview with him on Spotify a couple weeks ago with him and Danny Garcia. It was a hell of an effort to get him to get on the air with us, but it worked out good. We didn't have any video of him, but we had a lot of audio, and I'm sure everybody that joined in enjoyed it. I know Doug was stressed out, bigger than shit, because he's about as tech savvy as I am with phones, and I think he and the guy Danny Garcia with him, he's in the 70s, and I don't think he knows shit about tech. So between the two of them driving a car in the streets of California, the mean streets of California, they managed to pull it through, and we had difficulties on our end as well, and we managed to make it happen. And I'm glad we got Doug on the air. And Doug has returned safely back to his hometown. He's going to venture off out to the legs, one of the legs out there. He's got some more updates about Danny and his status. So, how was your weekend, Doug?
It was good. It was fun, man. I came home late Friday night. I think it was Friday night. I don't never know what day it is. But I actually had 2 days to kind of... Oh, yeah, I forgot all about that. My wife surprised me with a desk and a hutch.
A disc?
A desk.
Oh, a desk.
A desk for Survive First.
Oh, so you now have an official desk.
No, an official desk. It took me all day Saturday to build, like one of them IKEA things.
Oh.
All day
I think
Sunday.
everything you buy from IKEA comes like they build this shit in China.
My goodness,
and you get it in a box. It's like add water and the fucking thing blows up into a big piece of furniture.
Oh, crap. I couldn't even freaking move, man, for the rest of the week. But it was fun. It was nice.
Oh, good. Did you go to the air show?
No, I saw it, though. I saw a bunch of the planes flying over. The coolest thing, I don't think they had B-1s. There was a bunch of, I think, stealth or B-1s. I'm not real plane savvy, but
yeah, I heard them.
They had some high-tech stuff flying around.
I was riding down the road. I'm like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to look to see it, and, if you hear it, you ain't going to see it because the fucking things are like, I think there was the Raptors or whatever the hell was going on, Tomcats, and
F-35.
I was singing that tune when they were going
feeling like Tom Cruise a little bit.
So
yeah, it was good. How about y'all, man?
I'll tell you what, man, it was a freaking phenomenal weekend. The beaches were so packed. I mean, it was like people up north, as soon as they get a break in the weather and there's sun, they all race to the beach. And I don't know where the hell these people are coming from, but they were parking every goddamn place they can find. I damn well tell you, there ain't no damn cop was writing tickets parking because I'll tell you what, there was fucking people parking everywhere, all over the streets, all over the freaking curbs. But I actually really didn't do shit, man. I kind of hung out around. I went down to my girlfriend's parents' house. They live all the way down on Melbourne Beach, down almost towards Sebastian Inlet. And it was cool, man. I went down there and visited with them. It was relaxing. I actually went down there twice. I went down there. I brought them some Corey's Bagels, man. You ever had Corey's Bagels?
Oh, that's my spot, man.
Oh, shit. The only thing I don't like...
Galley?
Oh, yeah, man. That place rocks. The only thing I don't like about that place somewhat is I like, I love the bagels. I love the cream cheese. I love their tomatoes, believe it or not. Their tomatoes are the best tomatoes I've ever found. I can't tell you where they get them. He says he shops all over the county for them, but the way they do their eggs, man, they do their eggs and it's mixed up in like a scrambled version, and they put it in a little Tupperware bowl and put it in a microwave, and that goddamn thing blows up like steroids.
Yeah.
The fucking thing is like...
That's how I taught my kids to cook eggs.
Yeah, man. It's kind of weird, versus Bagel 13. They have a little griddle, and they griddle their eggs, and that's okay too. But the Bagel 13 is okay. It's too commercial for me. But Corey's, man, I travel down there. Me and my girl will go down there, and we'll sit at the little pub there, little bar, and it's old school. It's family run. It's a really good bagel joint. But I brought them bagels, and we hung out by their dock. They live right on a canal, and they have a shitload of manatees that go back there, and it's a good site. And then we went down to the Sebastian Inlet and hung out, and then it got a little bit rowdy. They had a lot of Spanish people that under the pavilion we were sharing, and they were playing their music really loud. And it was
that's a shocker.
Yeah, it was all right. But
that's how it is behind my house. Man, it is off the chain. Oh my goodness!
What, the Spanish music?
Just in general.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we play a little bit of music, but that day particularly, which was actually, it was yesterday, man. See, dude, I'm telling you, when you're retired, man, I don't even know. Every day is a weekend, but yeah, it was good. I stayed there for a little while, and then I left, came home, and had to take care of my dad. My dad, he's needy as hell, so I care for my dad. If anybody doesn't know, my dad's he's 86. I've been watching out for him since 2012. Military guy, disabled, and just my mother did everything for him when she was alive, and now he's helpless. So I kind of take care of him.
I'll be next.
Yeah.
God help me, man. When I'm
so he does put a lot of strain on me. I'll tell you what. And, with my condition that I've dealt with through my entire life, man, when I get stressed, my water's always like simmering. And then it just takes one thing and it fires me up, man. I mean, fucking. And I tell you who takes the brunt of it all, man? Who do you think takes the brunt of all your lashing out?
Your dog?
No, no, that son of a bitch, he's so good.
It's
the loved ones. It's your loved ones, man. I mean, I'm telling you, dude. I mean, they're the ones that take the brunt of it all. The people you care about the most, they're the ones who I lash out on, and it's hard, man. It's hard to explain to them. They're like, "What's wrong, fucking bro? What's wrong? You get so short." And I was like, "Well, I can't help it."
0 to 60.
Oh man! And then my dad, he calls me on the phone, and he just, his biggest thing, I can repeat everything. "Hi, son. You coming over? I miss you. Want to see?" I'm like, God damn it.
My kid's so tired.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man. But he wears me out. But it was a eventless weekend, but it was active. I mean, I enjoyed the weather, and now we're back into the shitty weather. Cloudy, kind of sprinkly rain. But it is Florida, man.
Could be worse.
So hey, have you followed up with that Jesse Smollett?
I don't know his last name. You talking
Smollett.
About the Star Wars?
No.
Guy? Was he on Star Wars?
No, he was on.
Yeah,
producer Jeffy.
Empire,
yeah, the Empire,
right?
and not Empire Strikes Back. It's just called Empire.
Oh, I thought they were talking about like the Empire Strikes Back. I thought, man, don't ruin that movie, man. Are you crazy, man? Freaking take that
but
guy
I'm telling
out.
you, man, the thing about him, right? I mean, he claimed this whole big.
Yeah.
He was accosted and beat and a hate crime and guys wearing masks, and he knew they were white because they had the white eyes. And they were yelling MAGA country, and it was crazy. At first it sounded like holy shit, it's good. But then when Chicago did their investigation, and Chicago never gets a good rap anymore. You fuck up a couple times, well, more than a couple times, and they never lose their stigma. Everything they do is questioned, and so they got all kinds of crookedness going on. But in this particular case, they did a good job in investigating and found out he was false. He had hired guys and all this, but then. They did their investigation, and then the state attorney decides, or the district attorney there decides to drop all charges, and
sounds like Brevard County.
Oh, and I'll tell you what, man, yeah, the county or the city of Chicago, the police department is outraged, the mayor is outraged. I mean, it's like wow, and everybody's like dumbfounded as why. And then you got people supporting him. Oh, it's true. And then the biggest supporter of him, who's supporting the attorney's decision to drop the case, is the guess who? Guess who? The one and only Al Sharpton, Mr. Tax Evader himself. I don't know why they can't get him for taxes, because the fucker's on TV all the time. You know where he's at.
Yeah, well, you know why.
No.
We all know why.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, he's
we
a
got to
public.
step back and be cops again.
I know. He's a public figurehead, man, and they don't want to screw with him.
Right.
And I think that the attorney was the district attorney was afraid of the backlash, like of all other things from the gay community. From what I think, this is my own opinion. These are not opinions by professionals. These are my opinions. And I think they were afraid of. Well, I think that was published that they're afraid of the backlash of the Let me see if I can get it right. LGBTQ community. I think producer Jesse. Am I right? Close enough.
You included them all.
Okay, I got them all. Yeah. Which I have lesbian. I'm going to try to figure it out without looking at internet. Lesbian, bisexual, gay, LBG.
T?
LB,
is there a T in there?
LBG, transgenders.
Right.
And then I thought it was an O, others.
Could be.
Okay, well, but they dropped the case in this guy. Now he's
Why is he on that? Is he in that club?
Yeah, I think he's gay. I think he's a gay, outspokenly gay. But people were saying he did it just to get his ratings up, and I don't know. He was messing up. But hey, what do you think about also the? I guess they're passing a law that there's legalizing marijuana in the state of Florida.
Yeah, Cocoa
Crickets,
Beach, all kinds of.
Well, it's for medical.
Smokable now.
Smokable, yeah, smokable. They had the little pens and oils and all that other stuff. They're just beating around the bush. And so then they say that they're looking to try to put a cap on the strength. They only want it to be 10% THC. They don't want it to be too strong. I mean,
that sounds like a Utah thing with their alcohol.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Man, that's like if you man, that's probably not even nice for me to say, but if you can become
Is it about Utah?
Well, my buddy,
go ahead.
He had an issue with his former became an alcoholic out there, and he called me. He goes, "Who in the hell can become an alcoholic in Utah? Because you just can't drink there."
Naughty ice. If they got naughty ice, you could be a drunk, man.
No, they got they got some crazy rules out there. As much as I love it out there, but
well, yeah. So that's going to be coming, and that's eventually it's going to be like Colorado. Bring it on, man. Let them smoke it. I mean,
well, there's one thing I did some research with someone on the CBD oil, and for guys with PTSD, and a buddy of mine who does it, and he said that he had all these issues every night of his life, night terrors every night. And when he started doing it, it cut it down to like 2/3. He's down
really?
Yeah.
I mean, I believe in it.
A week.
I believe in it. Hey, I believe in that plant that you rub on your body cures sunburns. Aloe trees.
Don't put no olive oil on your head. You're gonna burn up like a.
That'd be like a McDonald's French fry.
Yeah.
So if anybody's listening, and I appreciate everybody listening, and return listeners and new listeners, but I have a little hack going on, little sniffles. If it sounds annoying, message me, tell me it is, because I can't stop it. But and that's from last week we went on a cruise. I think you were over on your walk. I don't know when you got back. I think we were on our cruise. We went on a weekend cruise. I did a live broadcast. Well, it was a taped. It was live on my Facebook page, but you could barely hear it because I was just doing off the mic. But it was kind of weird. It was, but we did it. So,
yeah,
but that cruise was good. It was producer Jesse and I and my brother, a couple other people, 6 of us.
Yeah,
6 of us went. We had a blast. The weather was really good. The Coco Cay had a nice island, but Saturday night, man, I started feeling like shit, man. I just started feeling like congestion. And Sunday morning when I woke up, man, I spit up looked like a freaking, like a damn brown, green. I'm like, oh, fuck, here we go. The cruise, post-cruise.
Cruise crud.
Yep, so cruise crud is right. People, they say, oh, when you check in, they ask you, have you been sick? You think they're going to say yes because they don't want to get kicked off? Of course not, no. So I was sick Monday, not really, like spitting up, coughing. I swear to God, I think my neck was sore, my ribs were sore, my ass was, everything was sore because I was coughing. So I finally broke down and said, I can't shake it, man. So I went to the walk-in, my family walk-in clinic, and the guy was cool. I mean, he was like, hey, what are you suffering from? I said, cruising. So he said, oh, okay, you got a flu? I said, no, I got cruise crud. So he gave me a Z-Pack, and he was real cool. He said, you want a Z-Pack, amoxicillin? I said, I'll take Z-Pack because I had that before. And then he gave me these some kind of little gel things. I can never get it right. Some little gels that stop you from coughing. So I know my girlfriend's a nurse, so if she's listening, she'll put it on there. Hi, Karen. By the way, I see you on there. Doug says hi.
And thanks for rubbing in that y'all ate my dinner. I appreciate it. So speaking of my family, Tessalon, what?
Tessalon pearls. Yep, Tessalon pearls. Oh, okay. They help you stop coughing, and it was just. I mean, I'm going on another cruise May 4th, May 3rd. No, May 4th. May the 4th be with you. Yeah, okay. And that's going out of Miami. So I'm going to be coughing right into that one, and then. Because, I go to the doctor. Here's the thing with these.
Take you some pearls. I don't even like that name.
She wore a pearl necklace. It ain't a pearl necklace.
It's kind of freaky.
But, so, anyways, so, I lost my train of thought for a second. But anyways, I go to the doctor, and, if you're not sick all the time, you're punished. So I go in there, and I said, hi, I'm here to see the doctor. They said, oh, when was the last time you were here? I said, I don't know. Were you here the last 6 months? I said, no. She goes, okay, well, I need to fill out the paperwork again, or last year. I said, excuse me. So anyways, so I said, oh God. I said, so you basically, if you're unhealthy, you don't have to ever fill out paperwork again because you keep going. They keep getting you. But if you're not healthy or not sick, you got to, they say, well, if you haven't been here in a year, we got to update your paperwork. I'm like, Jesus.
I don't ever have to fill it out because I'm always fucked up with something, man.
Hey, well, producer Jesse's putting on a little tunes for us, so that means we're going to our first break. But hang tight, man. We're only going to be gone for a minute or two. So come on back. We got some more stuff to talk about. Don't go nowhere. Vinnie Marino Podcast.
Listening to Space Coast Podcast, home of the greatest podcasts on the Space Coast. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor or having your own show, email us at spacecoastpodcast@hotmail.com. Space Coast Podcast. Talk hard!
Are you ready to explore the world? Travel to exotic locations and live your best life with Anytime Travel Solutions. Anytime Travel Solutions are your worldwide, unbiased concierge with access to real inventory of hotels, cruises, railroads, tours, and all of the best excursions. Anytime Travel Solutions realizes how fun it is to plan your own vacations. So we have the option to search vacations and book safely on our website. Or you can visit us in our conveniently located offices in downtown Melbourne, Florida. Did you know travel is proven to benefit your health, both physically and mentally? We have 3 decades serving travelers and making dreams come true. So ask yourself, if not now, when? Call Ceci today to begin your adventure. Dial 321-779-4285 or visit anytimebookings.com. That's anytimebookings.com.
Steven,
Why, yes, Christopher.
what are you doing?
I am scribing down some ideas for the next podcast of the Black Dog Confessional.
Oh, Mitzi had spoke of that. She said it is rather wonderful.
Well, we tried to succeed, Christopher. We tried to succeed. We're talking about all the proper etiquette techniques that we can this week.
Do you think everyone is listening?
I definitely believe so, Christopher.
Well, if they're not, then make it on the game!
Hey, Welcome back. Love that music. I changed it up a little bit. This is like Molly Brown's stripper music. Check it out live. Hey, hold on a second. I got something in my bag here. I forgot I got some little chocolate chip cookies.
Whoa.
Yeah. My son last night says, "Hey, Dad, can you make, like, I don't know, 9:30 at night. Hey, Dad, can you make chocolate chip cookies?" I'm like, at 9:30 at night, I don't have enough chocolate chips. So I said, I usually make mine from scratch. So I go to the local Hell Mart, ride the golf cart over there, park right up on the curb. So I go in there and look at all the zombies and freak of natures that you'll never see in Publix. And I bought some of the breakaway chocolate, you know. I know Jesse's looking at them, but I don't know.
Not me, man. I'm not.
Okay.
I don't mean to insult you. I just
No,
I'm
just
off junk food.
okay.
I'm not special.
I got my braces in, so I have braces right now. So I have them. I've had them in.
Well, then put them up because you're gonna freaking torture my ass.
I'll wave in front of Jesse, producer. Jesse, the producer, he's gonna try one.
Oh, look at those things.
Oh,
Jesse, the producer. Like I still. So last night I tuned in real last minute to watch Stevie's show.
yeah. Hey, by the way, check out on Sunday nights, man. Steve and Chris, they got a cool little podcast going. They've been doing it for a while. They're professionals. Not like I am. I'm an amateur. But they got a good show on Sunday nights at 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock.
Was it 4?
4 o'clock. Yeah, right here at Space Coast Studios, man. They got some pretty neat guests. I'm trying to find some homeless people to bring in, or some kind of drunks, or something like that. Strippers.
And you get
Ex-porn stars or something like that. I'm just breaking in on a little bit of, I'm just trying to break in right now. So, but I'm sorry, Doug, go ahead, man. You checked out Stevie thing.
No, and he kept saying Jesse. I wanted to text him and go, "It's producer Jesse."
It's producer Jesse, man.
He called you
Yeah.
an engineer or something like that.
So yeah, check out on Sunday nights at 4 o'clock the Black Dog Confessional, man. That's Steve. Steve's good bud, and Chris. They're both good guys, man. They're pretty funny. Steve's a freaking comic, man. He's a great funny dude.
He's a good dude, man.
Yeah.
Steve, man.
So I'm wearing a different hat tonight. I got a Philadelphia Phillies hat. My girlfriend got this. She's from Philly, from the Philly area. Her whole family is. Some of them live down here. She had some family visiting from Philly now. They've been here since Thursday, and they're leaving out tomorrow. They had a great time. It was nice meeting them. It was a pleasure to meet them. They were really fun. But the Phillies, man. I'm not a huge baseball fan, but I know the Phillies are 2-0, and they picked up that Bryce Harper guy. And I know one thing about Phillies, that the Philly people, they're freaking hard on their players, man. And they were hard on Bryce Harper. That bitch wasn't performing. He came out there wearing these green mascot shoes, you know. It looked all bad, and he had struck out every at bat, struck out. And they booed him, so they were booing him. And then they played the Braves, and I guess he smacked his first homer from the Philadelphia Phillies, and now they love him. So, but they're 2-0. So go Phillies, go Phillies.
Good Phillies.
So we're going to talk a minute about me and Doug, because me and Doug have both been cops for many years. Between the two of us, we got over 50 years. Well, I got, I'd say 50. And plus life experience, because life experience when we were younger was real life experience. Life experience now is Xbox, Fortnite. Nobody goes out. Nobody talks. They can't even talk to each other. But we're just going to talk about people that are try to help you become less of a victim. I mean, you can't make it foolproof, because there's some things you can't always, do you can do everything you can, but you just can't stop scumbags. And, I always tell people, the first time you become comfortable and you think you're safe, you become a victim. You always have to be on your guard. So, Doug, do you have any, tips? I have some, and I'll spitball back with you. Let's talk about vehicles. Okay, they're mobile. People keep a lot of shit in them. And what do you see people doing that makes them become victims when it comes to their automobile?
Well, primarily, most people, they either leave their doors open, unlocked, because they're in a hurry, they're on the phone. Like I see it all the time. They're too busy yapping on the phone, they forget to lock their door, or they leave their crap out on the seats. Mm-hmm. If you don't have tint,
Right.
Because, like primarily people are just too busy.
Yeah.
And, I see it all the time, man. They're not even watching what they're doing anymore because they're too busy on their phone. And
so they leave a lot of stuff in plain view.
Yeah. Lock, as my
and
brother
and we
just
call those
said,
type
lock
of
the damn
people
doors.
sheeps.
Sheeps. I just look at them and go, bah.
Yeah.
People don't get it what it means, but they're just so busy grazing in the day, and everybody else is looking out for them. So yeah, it's it. I mean, it's common sense.
Yeah, because I see a lot of it that I've particularly been on calls where, it's like people they like, number one, they don't lock their cars and they swear they lock their car, but the traditional burglar. Let me just describe what a traditional burglar used to be. Is they used to smash car windows.
Yeah.
Okay, smash them out until they got modernized. They said, you know what? We're creating too much attention by smashing car windows. Why don't we just go check door handles? Because the ones they smashed, the door was unlocked. So I noticed a lot of people don't lock their car, and they swear the car was locked. So how did they get in the car? I have no idea. They must have Slim Jimmed it. And I tell you what, if you ain't working for Papa Lock, you ain't Slim Jimming shit, because those cars are so technical.
Yeah.
And these people are leaving guns, computers, purses. I mean, and you know what the worst one is I used to scare the shit out of people with is they leave their garage door opener in their car when they park it outside because their garage is full of shit. And what do you leave when you leave your garage door open in your car? A key to your house. Am I right, Doug?
Yeah. Or vice versa. That happened to me one time years ago. It was the most humbling thing because me being, a cop or whatever, and the next thing somebody broke into my house. Yeah, my brother, funny man. They broke into my house, and when they broke in, the keys were in a bowl right there by the counter. So they stole the keys, and what sucked the most, they stole the keys of my BMW at the time, and that freaking BMW wanted to charge me like $800 freaking dollars.
Oh yeah, you lose a car key these days, man. They're all laser coated and
but
shit.
That's what they did. They didn't steal nothing from the house. They went out and took stuff from the car. Go figure. I don't know what they're looking for, but mostly people leave firearms in there.
Oh yeah,
they leave loose change and money, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
And when they broke in that day, I had an excursion also, and on the back seat, which I never do, but that night I left my tack vest and my fully automatic M4 on the seat, and they didn't see it.
Jeez.
They stole my police radio.
They could have been spooked.
And my watch.
They could have been spooked.
Hopefully.
Thank
God, or I would have been.
Yeah. So people, here's some tips that we'll give you if you don't do it already, and we're doing it based on what we've seen in the field. So I would consider myself and Doug experts as far as how not to try to be a victim. Number one is if you can park your car inside your garage, move your shit out of the way, your stuff, and pull your car in the garage. Number one. Agree?
Absolutely.
Okay. Another one is if you're going to park your car outside, keep everything out of view. This is like third grade stuff, man. I feel like I'm talking to third graders with this. Leave your stuff out of plain view. Don't be lazy. Don't leave stuff in the car. Don't leave change floating around. Lock your doors. Make sure they're locked. And even if you don't lock it, a lot of times they go through these cars and they rummage through them. They flip open your glove box. They throw your papers all around. And they usually score. These guys, one time they usually hit? It's like 4 o'clock in the morning. These people are hitting these cars like 4 in the morning. And, park your car in a lit area if you're in an apartment development, because those are that's like a shopping mall. They go in these neighborhoods where people have gated communities and they feel so safe. Well, they're not, because that's a false sense of security, people.
Yeah.
And people in gated communities tend to leave their cars outside, and I'm telling you right now, they tend not to lock their car doors, whether they forget or they just never do. And I was just talking to Doug earlier. We've been to a lot of burglaries at houses, and people say, I never lock my doors. I'm like, what the hell? How the hell do you not lock your house doors anymore? I've never locked them. Well, times have changed, man.
They only lock them when the fire department needs to get in because they're sick. That's
Yeah,
the only time
or a welfare
poor
check.
Gotta
Yeah,
kick the door in.
Oh yeah. So people, as far as cars, lock your car doors, keep everything out of plain view. This is simple stuff, and people, most of you, hopefully, that already know this. but it tends to keep being a reoccurring problem with law enforcement when it comes to burglaries. And that was back in the day when people used to use the club. Remember the club? The club?
Listen, man.
Nobody steals cars anymore. I'm telling you right now, nobody steals cars.
I know a guy he's got this old raggedy-ass Corvette, and he still uses the club. Like, he just did it the other day. I saw him when I was at the school, man.
You know,
he put the club on his Corvette.
But back in the day,
He's one left.
when somebody, you know, all these things are they're something that gives the person, the bad guy, a time to say, you know what? Why am I going to screw with this when the car next to it doesn't have anything? So they tend to they got smarter. So they don't break car windows anymore unless you have something really good. But not too many burglaries that I've taken back in my career were from smashed out windows because people don't lock their cars. So they're a lot more quieter now. They hit these neighborhoods around 4 in the morning. Believe it or not, they're out early in the morning, not like 10, 11 o'clock at night. They're 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. Because I remember there were times when I was working midnights and it was a pain in the ass. You know, you start getting calls from these early risers. They get them and go, hey, my car's broken into. Then you start looking down the neighborhood and you see, you know, dome lights on in cars. Like, there's another one. I mean, they would hit 20, 25 cars in a spree. And these guys would benefit. And then you'd find, you know, stolen property laying all over the floor. And, oh, what a freaking nightmare it was, man. And usually it's a juvenile and nothing happens to them with punishment. So they just keep it's a revolving door with juveniles. But, yeah, park your cars in a well-lit area. Park them in the garage.
See, my brother said, what's that brother, man? Don.
Oh.
Remote key phone scanners. So they got some sort of little scanner that can pop your door. Is that what you're saying, Don?
Well, yeah. Somebody used to tell me with Saturn, they used to get a tennis ball and put it over the door lock, half a tennis ball, and pop it, and it would pop the lock. Those Saturn cars, yeah. But I'm telling you, as far as stealing cars, man, they don't steal cars anymore, man. They don't steal them. So, well, we're gonna come back in a minute. I guess I'm getting cued by my producer, who still ain't got it. Do you have a trash can in here yet, by the way? No. Okay. So we're back to the generic
water bottles.
We got water bottles and nowhere to throw them. So, all right, we'll be right back. Just a couple minutes, and we're gonna go into the global walk and get with Doug and see where he's been and where he's going. Stay tuned. Just a couple minute break.
You're listening to Space Coast Podcast, home of the greatest podcasts on the Space Coast. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor or having your own show, email us at spacecoastpodcast@hotmail.com.
Space Coast Podcast.
Talk hard!
Hey, make sure you check out Space Cowboy Justice with your hosts, Blake Stewart and Paul Daly. We're going to be talking about interesting legal issues in the entertainment industry and everything geek. If you're into Star Wars, Star Trek, Lord of the Rings, comic books, we're talking about it. Coming at you from the Space Coast Podcast Studios.
Hey. Welcome back from our second commercial break. Again, I'm going to crack me open another water bottle. Pretty soon I'll be in here having to wear diapers because there's no bathroom in here either. Well, there is, but it's outside. So for the hour, I gotta withstand, my urge to piss. So, but Doug wants to give a shout out to somebody who's on.
I know I got all kinds of people on tonight. So my son, I miss my son, man. He's in the Air Force.
Yeah,
he's in Texas right now. I can't throw him under the bus, but he's out in Texas. And he's doing well out there. I'm going to catch up with him when I get to Texas here in a few weeks. And then my buddy Thayer. So I got to tell you this funny story. So I flew out to, it's kind of
see
weird
that thing looks like Rudolph's nose?
Yeah, that's one over here.
I saw you. He's so soft-spoken, man. He's such a tough guy. Tough guys are all soft-spoken.
I just ain't comfortable with having some big red round thing in my freaking face, man. I'm a pitcher, not a
Got
catcher.
a round thing in your face, you got sprung. When I put up some.
So I had to fly to Utah this week, and I had to get in this meeting. My buddy Thayer was there, and he had some eye surgery stuff going on. You know them like big black they go over your glasses.
Yes.
So he's sitting in the meeting
the
the
old
whole
man
time
things, man.
with the black things on, man. And I'm trying to be serious here. We're talking about some serious mental health issues for police officers. And I look over at him, and he's still got them on. And I finally had to interrupt the meeting and go, listen, dude, do y'all remember Goggles Paisano? Remember Fred Flintstone?
Yeah.
Remember when he was,
Yep.
he every now and then he'd be Goggles Paisano, the race car. And that's what I kept seeing. So I told him, you got to take the freaking glasses off, man. So I got to say hi to him. Then my other buddy, Chris Field.
Chris Fields. What's up, Chris Fields? Doug was telling me in our break about you. Damn.
Chris is...
You famous, man.
He's famous in a bad way, man. I talked to him this morning, I think. Yeah, was it? Shit, I don't know.
When you're retired, man, you don't know.
God damn, I don't know when I did. But I was talking... It was this morning I was talking to Chris, man, and... Unfortunately, like if I introduce him or tell somebody about him, it's something negative. You know what I mean? But he's pretty famous, man. But for a good reason, man. He's on the firefighter side. He's a retired fire chief, and unfortunately, he's the guy that was on the cover of Time magazine. If I'm wrong, Chris, tell me. But I think it's Time magazine. He was holding the little baby girl from the Oklahoma bombing. And so everybody knows him from that capacity.
Wow.
But what he's doing
that's
is,
nothing you really want to be famous for, right? Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's had a long journey like myself and you and many others, man, coming back to get through what a radically tragic thing that he had to deal with. But, man, he's out there beating the streets, meeting with police officers, meeting with firefighters. He's on the fire side, so, I always keep him handy, man. I tell people, like, when I'm dealing with the firefighters, hey, I got this guy on team, man, and he's wonderful. He'll pick up his phone anytime anybody needs him, especially if you're, firefighters out there and you're listening in, or he's just a wonderful person. I'm glad that.
Well, maybe when we'll get him on with us one of these days.
Yeah,
we'll get him like we did with
man.
you, and he might have the real kind of setup, like not like you with a cell phone. It just needs a computer.
So, do y'all realize when we were doing the mobile broadcast, I got invited to Google headquarters on the walk, right? It was cool as hell, man, to hang out at Google. That was part of, the walk when we came out of San Francisco to San Jose. And I couldn't I couldn't download Google Chrome in the parking lot. And I was like, of all places.
Ugh.
But we got the message out there. You know what I mean? People heard it. Things are going good on the walk.
Well, it is something, though, and we're going to get into that in just a second, though. But unfortunately, in our careers and first responders, we seem to always make headlines for something tragic. It's not. I mean, there's some good, but it seems to be more elevated when it's something tragic. Not necessarily something we did, but like with him with the photograph of him holding the child from the Oklahoma bombing. Other things that happens, and fatalities and that officers killed. But so let's hopefully that changes it. That tune changes one day, and law enforcement and firefighters are looked at with a different lens. Because it's been a tough time. But we're gonna get into Doug's honor walk. What am I calling it? All honor walk, global walk. Walk Across America.
So Global Walk is Danny's company. So
Okay.
it's the Honor Walk is, obviously it's what it says,
Right.
walking across the U.S. to honor veterans and first responders.
All right. So we talked to you 2 weeks ago. You were in California, and we kind of got some updates. So why don't you give us where you after we spoke to you, if you continued your walk, or Danny, give us an update as far as that and what's to come for you and where we're at today with the Walk Across America. And if you give us some stats, I know we have some different stats with suicides, more, unfortunately. And all right, Doug, go ahead, man. Let us have it.
Hey, Doug. I'm saying hi to another Doug.
The other Doug.
The other Doug, he's the logistics guy for the walk. But so we got to about San Jose a couple of days into it, and Danny came down with being sick, and he's had a hard time regulating his health right now. So he's kind of had to slow his roll. He's doing some slow work out there with some of the military bases, and then. Like I said before, I had some commitments with Survive First.
Right.
I had a gig I had to do in Utah for a few days, and then I need to check in, obviously, with the family and keep my mental health together.
Yeah, because you have a lot pending here.
I tell people you can't save somebody else if you can't save yourself first.
Right.
And so I got to make sure that I do certain things, keep my head together, but. So we're still we're Southern California.
Okay.
So
are you on course?
On course, so pretty much. There's really no set time.
Right.
And what happens is it's
well,
a
you
domino
have an
effect.
end time, right? Where you kind of want to end.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Like as soon as possible, man. Man, my stuff's barking already. But
so your final leg
August.
was at San Jose.
San Jose for me.
Okay.
And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back. So I'm primarily I'm going to jump back in around Phoenix, Arizona
as the lead, depending on his health.
Regardless of what Danny does, I'm
right.
I'm going ahead. I'm going to. I committed, man. I'm going to. What's cool about the walk is. Cops and firefighters are funny guys. Like, you walk up to them, and the first thing they do is look at you and like, what the hell does this kook want? And, once I tell them, hey, here's who I am, here's my background, it's what I'm doing, obviously the attitude changes and the door opens. So, but what's perfect is, so I have a pamphlet, I have a packet, like a folder packet, and it's full of resources, chateau recovery, biosound technologies, all the things we use, sponsors, statistics, stuff on our webpage. What I do is when I go meet like a chief or a captain at their department, San Francisco, San Jose, San Mateo, Half Moon Bay, all these places we've been to, I hand it to them and I look at them and I go, everything you need to take care of your officers or your firefighter is in this folder. Everything.
Is it give them like steps how to recognize things or programs to do training, or to actually do training with their staff?
Yes. Yeah, signs, symptoms, statistics, all that type of stuff's in the packet. And what's good about it is I can have a one-on-one conversation. Instead of emailing a department or just calling up and trying to set an appointment, because as well as I do, nobody's got time for that.
Right.
And when they're not, it sounds like a sales pitch. So what it does, it opens the door to me to have a one-on-one conversation with the administration and with the firefighters or the police officers. And it's been wonderful. The conversations that I've had with everybody are real. Hey, man, thank you for sharing this. I've been struggling for years. Thank you for coming by. It's always something positive. And it's good to have that conversation, just in general, because we don't do that. And we spend so much time training, doing other stuff. Like, how many times in your career you do CPR?
We do it once a year. I think once every 2 years.
Right? Ridiculous.
Oh no,
every year.
I mean, in training.
Yeah, it's mandatory.
Oh yeah. I think the certification is good for 2 years. I think.
But we do CPR training every year. And I remember my last year at Coco, we did tourniquet training 3 times.
Yeah.
I did it with the PD training. I did it with SWAT training. And then we did like some active shooter crap. And I finally went to the boys in the brass and said, how many freaking times? You got to be a moron if you don't know how to put on a tourniquet, right? So I went to him and said, but how many times this year we train on mental health? If your guys don't have their head clear, they're not going to perform.
God, you know
well
how many? Like, I would say they're called like sleeping. Like, how do I want to put it? Like these people that have issues like time bombs. Okay, they're freaking time bombs, and nobody can recognize it. I mean, I'm easy to recognize because I fucking blow up all the time with shit. What's wrong with you? And I can just tell them. But so many people they mask it. And So when you your recommendations for these people, like if they have then there's traumatic incidents going on in agencies all the time. What do you tell them to their administration? Say, hey, when you have an officer who's involved in a traumatic experience, what do you tell them to do? How do you try to tell them to grasp what this guy? I mean, I know they try to offer him help, but I'd say they offer it. They don't mandate it for them to go get. Some of them do. I mean, when I had mine, I had to go see a psychologist, but it wasn't. They weren't even trained that great. They were.
Here's the problem with that, though. You went for CYA reasons.
Right. Yeah, they cover their own.
That's what the problem is. So law enforcement it's a reactive thing. They wait to do stuff after something bad happens instead of being proactive. So that's a lot of my approach. Yeah. In the beginning, I was just getting on stage and doing a lot of talking, and then I realized nobody wants to hear talk. I don't even like to hear myself talk, So I changed the approach to an educational background and focused on signs and symptoms. And also approaching the administration side of going, hey, listen, let's be proactive. Because what I've learned in this industry...
Yeah, law enforcement is reactive.
It's reactive. And a lot of, like if you look out on the market today, there's all these people, and I've worked with them. And since I've started this, that's what I've done is worked with all these organizations, and all they really want to do is sell you something. Hey, you call us and we'll put your guys into treatment. That's right. A big thing. And there's wonderful treatment centers out there. I work with one of them that's awesome. That's great to have that in your basket or in your toolbox. But it'd be a great thing to just be proactive, train, educated. Like you were saying earlier, being a time bomb. Well, everybody knows me. I'm a live time bomb. Yeah. I go off at least 20 times a day. But the problem is most guys don't realize why. They don't even realize they have it or what the issue is. I never did. I would have my closest friends in the department. Anybody knows Tony Marquica. He's a wonderful person. Yeah. Loving and a true loving friend.
I think I'm on his Facebook. He's on my Facebook. Is he like a lieutenant now?
He's a lieutenant. Yeah, man, he runs a SWAT team.
Yeah, yep.
He would pull me aside, and what's great about Tony is he'll call you out.
Yep.
He'll call you on your shit, and he would be like, hey, Doug, man, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I'd be like, fuck you, Tony. Ain't nothing fucking wrong with me. Right? That was the language I was using. That was the attitude. And it took me to get help to realize how bad I was treating him. And all he was concerned. So I didn't see it like, when people are coming up to you going, hey, man, there's something wrong. You okay? This is not your behavior. And
so what do they do after that? If you tell them, hey, I'm fucking okay, or I'm fine.
Well, sooner or later, what they would do is they back away because they just can't take the abuse anymore. It's the same thing with our spouses. You'll shut them. They start to shut down. And that's the opposite thing of what needs to be done. Instead of shutting down, we need to say, hey, listen, man, there's something wrong with you. And we need to be, in law enforcement and in any first responder, we need to be trained to listen. Because we're so used to being in charge and in control and that one-way mind. Everybody's a dirtbag.
And you don't like being asked questions either.
Right. Don't ask me questions. Like, it annoys me when somebody asks me for my driver's license.
Dude, I don't have that. I thought you were going to say when somebody asks you questions. I hate it. Because for years, what have you been doing? Asking the questions. Yeah. You're the one controlling the conversation. You're the one controlling the questions. And when somebody starts questioning, I feel like I'm being interrogated.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I don't even like when people ask me for my driver's license. I'm like, man, fuck you. I ask you for your driver's license, and I'm retired. And it's still bothering me.
You don't ever lose it.
So many years of that, it's just it's been kind of wild. But so it's opening that bridge of communication is a key. And what's great is over the past, we have developed a training program. We have an amazing team. We have the best people on our team because I had this ability as an athlete. I did whatever I had to do to become the best. And when I became a SWAT guy, I did everything. I had to be the best sniper. I had to be the best SWAT. I dedicated 100% of my time to it. And I learned that from a friend. Hey, man, if you just focus on being successful, everything else will fall in line. And that's what I've done with Survive First. I bring the best people. I mean, I put a lot of work. Karen and I, years of traveling to meet people and meet facilities and build the absolute best team, so that when a cop comes to, calls me or something like that, I have the right information for him.
Right.
Because you can't compromise a first responder's life. There's no you cannot afford to be half-assed, throw a compromise in there. You got to have all your ducks in a row, because if you don't, you could be the catalyst that sends somebody over
So
the
I
edge.
know you do a lot of work here in our county with our law enforcement, local agencies and stuff. Are you getting any kind of response as far as, I know you put out numbers and phone numbers and stuff, and you reach out to them. Are you getting any response from people? Like, because we see it, Doug, we see it all the time, man. Daily, there's some kind of incident going on where damn well somebody's going to suffer from something, whether maybe it's not then, but it's going to be eventually. I mean, are you getting any kind of response from people saying, hey, you know what, Doug? I had this real bad thing happen at work, and, it's kind of screwed my head up a little bit. Are you getting anybody calling, or if people just seem like they're too macho to call and to reach out to you?
No. Unfortunately, this may sound like I'm bragging, but unfortunately, I'm always on. Too many people call me. I'm like, it's crazy. Mm-hmm. And it just keeps me motivated to keep moving forward, to get it out there. And with that being said, what's shocking is some of the people that have called me, it's people that you would least expect.
Oh yeah,
you're like, whoa.
Well, when it's confidential with you, and it's with you, being that you've been through it. I mean, they can definitely open up, and it's usually the ones that you least would expect to call.
Yeah, no, and and they do. I was telling you earlier, it's amazing. Like, it excites me because it's working, so it makes me feel good. I'm doing a good job. It's working. People are getting the message and they're reaching out. We just had a guy local that reached out this week, and they obviously have seen it was nobody in my circle or nobody in anybody's circle I know, but a first responder reached out for help, and we were able to that day get him into a program.
I know Palm Bay had a shooting, homicide or something like that over the weekend, and like I said, it doesn't have to be something that they did. It's something they just show up to. And I'll tell you, man, I'm surprised my girlfriend didn't call you, because I was really struggling last week, man. I was really, and it's just everything that was coming down, my dad's stress, and I just got a lot of things that are coming up. So I was like, man, I should call Doug. And I thought about it too. I actually thought about, let me just vent. But
please.
But I'm surprised, because my girlfriend was just trying to console me, and it just doesn't work. You know what I mean? Because you take it out on them, and I'm just telling all my law enforcement brothers and first responders and anybody who's listening. I'm going to have Doug also, give you the number and email, whatever he's going to give you. And if you call him, it's no charge. It's confidential. And if you have anything going on, just please give the guy a call, because I was tempted to call him last week. No, I think it was this week. Man, I'm telling you, Doug, my memory sucks. But it was just really bad times, man. I was really angry, and I tried to get into a happy place. And it was really tough. I just got so many things coming at me at once, and minor things, but they become major, So,
well, part of my program is that I have this thing called the wheelbarrow effect. Mm-hmm. And I tell guys, when you get into a career, I tell everybody you have two wheelbarrows. You have a personal one and a work one. And when you get into the career, you got an empty wheelbarrow. It's real easy to push it. And you can run around. You can throw your kid in and do loops around the yard. Mm-hmm. And every time you encounter something at work, it's like a brick that goes into the wheelbarrow, just from the training all the way up to being in your career, and the bad calls and the stress from the bosses and the new this and that you did this wrong and the video camera saw you say a bad radical stuff. And then you go home and you swap that out for your personal one. And then sooner or later, it's so full, and you know what it's like pushing a heavy-ass wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
And all it takes is a freaking flea to jump into that wheelbarrow, and that wheelbarrow is going to tip on it.
I'm telling you, dude,
Right?
that's where my dad keeps me on that level. And every time something comes up, I just get so freaking pissed off. And it's like, what the hell?
You got to learn to put the wheelbarrow down, and you got to learn to take the crap out.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the hardest part. And that's what I do. I have to do that for myself. Fortunately for me, I got the queen bee at home who watches me like a hawk and is like, "Hey, this is what you're doing." We had to have a chat this weekend because I run 100 miles an hour and my attitude changes, certain things like that. And she has to reel me back in and go, "Hey, you got to say no to some things. You got to take time for yourself."
I'm telling you, that's like I'm telling you, man, that's just like the same way I got to stop doing certain things and take time for myself and put my dad on like block, which I do sometimes because I just can't take it, man. And I don't have really much a support system with him. And so I try to explain it to my girlfriend, and I mean, she understands, she gets it, man. She's a military chick. She's like one of the guys, man. All my friends love her. She fits in really well. But so yeah, she is a cool chick. But I want to just tell Doug, why don't you give out your website if you would, and also a number that if anybody wants to jot it down, you're in your own residence, you don't have to be known. You can just call him, and he'll definitely talk to you. And you never know, like he said, if he just gets 5 minutes of somebody's time, that can change somebody's world, man. So.
That's it. I always tell, hey, man, I learned that the hard way. I didn't give. I saw a kid, I think we talked about the Palm Bay police officer. I pass his house every day, and I always said, man, I just need to stop by and introduce myself. And he ended up taking his life, and it haunted me for it still does to this day. But you don't always, I call certain people at certain times. Usually when I'm in the car leaving town or going somewhere, everybody has that person that you can call, and it's always going to be a good conversation. It's either going to be funny or it's not going to be drama or anything. And I have those. Like I call my brother at least once a week because I know he's just going to tell me about his son fishing or something cool, right? And I use when you're struggling, I have a list of people that I call and check off with, and people can do that. For me, I always answer my phone. And so if you go to the website, which is well, my wife's correcting me. Hold on a minute. www.survivefirst.us, and the number's 844-577-7233. She had to put that up there because she knows I don't know it. But
producer Jesse, he is going to fumble something around here. I'm sure
that number rings to my cell phone. And so my cell phone is 321-302-0382. It's the same number I have now that I had when I started at Coco. So it's 20 years so old, and I'll pick it up, man. That's just it. You got to be available to.
Well, Doug, we always love having you, man.
Yeah.
We're two retired cops. We go through the same struggles. When Doug talks, I think of myself because some of the things he goes through, and it's just a support group that's needed. And for all those that are listening, I'm telling you, take heed if you have something traumatic happen. I mean, like I said, we talk about some stuff that are, funny, crazy, but then on a serious note, man, this is a serious topic. And I think we're at, I know Karen would correct us if we're wrong, I think we're up to 54 law enforcement officers.
54, 55, I think it's 55.
Yeah, have committed suicide this year alone. And I'm telling you, it's a very bloody month for law enforcement. I know there's been a few that have been hit and killed and doing traffic accident investigations, and it's just a tough year. Every year is a tough year for law enforcement, and we just ask you guys to give them the support the Thin Blue Line, and support all of us that look out for the ones that need help, man. And Doug, man, you're a great dude, always. Karen, I know you're listening, but we appreciate your support for Doug, and appreciate you sending out a message to Michelle. I'm sure she'd give you a ring and you can give her some pointers. So I want to thank producer Jesse. He's been doing a fantastic job. He's got a hat on that says RCA, which I thought it meant like RCA TVs. which I think is before his time. I don't even think they make RCAs anymore.
Yeah, they do.
Any final thoughts there, Doug? You can say anything you want. Anything you want. Final thought.
Karen said 56, the number. That's obviously 56. It's one too many.
Wow.
That's the official number.
You'd love to get in and see what the circumstances were. Like they say, these people have more reasons to live than they do to do what they did.
Yeah, we can talk about that one night because that's a key component that what brings
They
you
have
to
kids.
that point.
They have everything going for them, a career, and then they take about 30 seconds of their life and not think about anything. And that's why I always tell people, before you do something, think for just probably 3 seconds, if that. Think about it before you make that decision to do something, and you'll probably talk yourself out of it. But these people they have mental illness, man. They can't rationalize.
That's how radical the disease is.
They can't rationalize with themselves.
I've been there.
But any final thoughts for me is
one thing I got in my mind is there's guys in our industry that are great guys, and they might go through a bad time and so. What I would tell everybody listening, especially the guys that know us that have been in our circle, is look out for your guys.
Right.
Don't be scared to say a prayer for them. You know what I mean? Like today I spent a big portion of the day praying for Jason Roberts. He's a wonderful guy.
Right.
He's a wonderful guy. He's going through some stuff. Keep him in your prayers, man. He's a great guy. If you're friends with him, reach out to him. That's part of the component. You know what I mean? I've got friends in Utah that just had to deal with the state trooper who got killed. So
I
Holly,
think it was
my
two.
friend, she's listening.
There was two.
Yeah, just
in the same
crazy.
month, I think. The female, she was young. I mean, and doing an investigation, a trucker. I mean, God dang, man.
There's a lot going on out there. Keep everybody.
We have the worst
in
luck,
mind.
man. Law enforcement has the worst luck.
Yeah,
it's crazy, man. But hey, I want Jesse to bring in some of that little music, and we can talk over it for a second because it sounds so cool. So, hey, I want to thank everybody that's listening. Those that were going to be listening in a taped, I want to thank you for joining. Share, like, show your support. It keeps me going, man. Doesn't pay me anything, but it keeps my energy going. Whether I have one listener, like Doug says, you can talk to somebody for 5 minutes, say one person. As long as I got one person listening, man, I'm going to be on the air. So I appreciate it. Thank you to Jesse, producer Jesse. We had a great time on our cruise. And let's play some stripper music on the way out. Peace out.
Long live the strippers.
Yep, strong. Yeah. Be a good American.